Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Empowered by Kaur. And today we have someone very special with us, a Miss Universe Malaysia 2025 finalist, top 16 finalist, Miss Bhadrani. And
Hello.
yes, someone whose vision and mission aligns very well with Empowered by Kaur itself. So we're very excited to have her here. Without wasting any time, we're going to jump right into it. So before we start, Miss Bhadrani, could you explain a little bit about your advocacy, but most importantly, explain a little bit about yourself and as a Miss Universe Malaysia 2025 finalist?
Thank you so much, Ashwin, for that warm introduction. So, my name is Bhadrani Nagendran. I am a professionally qualified social worker, both certified in United Kingdom and Australia. And right now, with Miss Universe Malaysia 2025, I've come here to advocate, and my platform is all about ending violence against women and children. Because in my own personal lived experience in my life, that's what I've kind of experienced and worked against and tried to raise advocacy for. So that's what I'm going for as my Miss Universe Malaysia 2025 platform, ending violence against women and children. So thank you.
Amazing. Okay, that is definitely a topic very well aligned with my podcast itself, Empowered by Cause. So, what inspired you to choose this actually? Or maybe there's a personal story behind it you would like to share with the audience so that we know the root cause of why you chose this advocacy title.
Okay. So, what inspired me for ending violence against women and children and choosing that particular topic is that it isn't rare. This topic is like a global pandemic that is happening everywhere, constantly, all the time. And I think in a lot of parts of the world, people just choose to ignore it, or there's not enough education and awareness that it is happening. It's happening in regardless of class, culture, life experiences, where you're from. It's constantly happening every day. And the only way to end violence against women and children is awareness, education, and having those uncomfortable conversations. And for me personally, I've seen injustice like my whole life. And moving to UK to do my degree and kind of pursuing social work as a degree, this is where I saw it. I used to see it in homes. I go into homes and I see a child maybe, being traumatized or abused, or even so many things that I've seen in my career that I feel like it needs a bigger platform and a bigger spotlight. It's not enough for me to just do my job as a social worker and go at home. I think Miss Universe gives me the perfect platform for me to say, hey, wake up. This is actually happening every day. And we need to be aware that it's happening and have the uncomfortable conversations about it. So really it's very personal to me. And I think the only way that children will be safe is when we wake up and realize that, this is actually happening and we need to do something to change it, not just talk about it and not just we need to do more. So I think that's what Miss Universe is a great place to kind of advocate for this. And that's why I've chosen it, because it's very close to my heart. I've seen it from a young age.
I see. That's so interesting, because my next question was actually going to be, how do you use the platform that you have from pageantry to amplify this cause that you have? And you've already answered that. But let's just say that if you do win Miss Universe Malaysia 2025, fingers crossed, what would you do to amplify this on a global level? Or what would be your first step? What would you do first after winning it?
Well, I think I'm already doing the work. I'm privileged enough to be able to do the work. So right now I'm actually collaborating with NGOs, and I'm going and interviewing Rhythm Foundation, Women's Aid Organization, and kind of seeing what does Malaysia have to say about this, and seeing the inside scoop to see how can I, as a Miss Universe or just a person, how can I make a difference? And I think with Miss Universe, it's all about the global reach that it has. It's not just in Malaysia; it will be hitting worldwide, everyone. So I think with that platform, I would be able to. I would have the backing, the support and the backing, because I feel like I already do the work, but with this kind of change and to kind of make a difference, I need support and backing. So that's why I'm also going for Miss Universe, because I feel like with the legal funding and support and collaborations with NGOs, because right now, when you're on your own, people are a bit more, and when you're working with something so sensitive, ending violence against women and children, people are they're kind of scared, I think, because you don't have the legal backing and all that kind of thing. So but with Miss Universe also, the platform has allowed me to launch my own initiative, which is called Unbreakable by Bhadrani. So and that's where I'm sharing what I'm doing, how am I advocating, how am I using this platform to really make a difference here today.
I see.
So-
Oh my God, that's so interesting. So she has already started her initiative, not after winning, which is what a true queen is all about. So I'm really excited to see where this advocacy of yours and your initiative, how far it reaches. So moving on, I would just like to ask you something related to the violence, ending violence against women and children. Because when it comes to women, I think sometimes when they go through the violence, or abuse, they tend to keep quiet. They tend to distance themselves. I think there's only two things. It's either they really speak up about it and put an end to it,
Yep.
or not, they just let it keep happening to them again and again.
like the cycle. Yep.
Yes, exactly. So what would you say are some of the warning signs that people can look out for in recognizing when someone might be experiencing this abuse, like in women or maybe children?
Yeah. I think for me as a social worker and kind of what we've learned, or as a human being itself, the signs are always there.
Okay.
In social work, what we learn, it's not about the words. It's not like, because children and women are not going to come and tell you that this has happened to them, or they've been raped, or they've been stalked. They're never going to tell you, but the signs are always there. And that's the first thing that we observe. When we go into a home, we don't ask questions. We do ask questions, but a huge part of it is observation. It's like the saying, action speaks louder than words.
Yes.
So what is the child's body language telling me? Is he like, what's he like when mom comes into a room? What's he like when dad comes into the room? Is his energy changed? Same with like a girl in a relationship with a boy. How is she like when her partner calls? Is she scared, or is she always obeying him and respecting him? So I think the signs are always there. But when you pay attention and you realize that their body language is kind of telling you everything, that's how you kind of know that it's happening, because words are not enough. Because like you said, sometimes people are very scared to speak up because of the
Yes.
consequences, culture. And sometimes systems don't protect women. Like, okay, I speak up today that this happened to me. Yeah, but are the police going to do anything? Is the justice, it's like a whole process. Like, who's going to believe me? And I think children have spoken up again and again when they tell their mom that, oh, this is happening, at school, at work, or at home, wherever. So I think the signs are always there. Observation is one thing that we look for in everything as a social worker, and we always listen. It's called in social work the voice of the child. So the child is the center. So you always listen to what the child is telling you. So, and it's also building that relationship. After a while, when you build that relationship and rapport with your child, the child that you're, seeing, or, that comes under you, that's also how you see a lot of signs, because abuse is not discovered over one night. But when we give that child that space to feel safe and that observation, and we really listen and look, the signs are always there.
I see. Oh my God, this is so interesting. So I just want to ask you this. This is not prepared. So this is impromptu. Yes. I just want to ask you, have you ever encountered, can you give me an example of it? Like, for example, if it's a rape case, or, a woman going through torture through her husband, what's one example that you can give me?
Well, it's all about confidentiality in social work. And it's not because we can't share. Well, it's also because we can't share, but it's also because of the high risk that cases of rape, murder, stalking come with, always releasing the identity, because we don't know who's watching. But I have seen a lot of things. For example, I've seen when I've gone into a woman's house, she had 2 kids upstairs, but she was actually experiencing schizophrenia and things like that. So she actually chased us out with a knife, and we had to run out. But at the same time, we had to prioritize the child's safety, because I think both the children at the time, one had autism and one had ADHD. So we were like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Yes.
And, so it's cases like that. It's also cases where I'll get a call from school that a child has come to school with a red mark on their face. And then I have, as the social worker, the immediate thing to do is, actually, we don't call the parents, we go to school, because if we get the call from school, and we're already involved in the case usually, so we have consent to actually see the child. There are processes and policies in place. So I had a case like that where there was a bruise on the child's mark, and I got a call from the school, and I was like, oh my God, I need to go to school now. So I went to school, I interviewed the child, and this child actually, this was when I was working in children and disabilities. So the child was autistic, and he doesn't speak. So it's even more, that's why observation is so important, because sometimes trauma also is another reason why these kids don't speak. It's not just because of their disability.
Yes.
So it was a very difficult case to find out, who's abusing him, mom or dad. We found out later on it was actually the mom. She would get so frustrated with his autism, and she would just
oh my God.
So it's cases like that. that I've had along my journey.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So
If you don't mind me asking, how long have you been doing this? And are you doing it also based here in Malaysia, or is it like overseas?
So it's mostly in Australia and UK. Actually, here to join Miss Universe. I'll come to that in a second.
Okay.
But I've been doing it. So I graduated when I was 24. I'm 27 now.
Okay.
So I've been doing it for about 3 years. But before then, they don't just throw you in the end with social work. You have to do like a lot of placements, which means you get like experience on the go, because they don't let you just like, okay, today you're going to go into a house and you're going to find that this is happening. No. Because you need to know the proper protocols of what to do in that system. Because a lot of the times you go alone. When I go to these houses, I'm actually alone.
Oh, you go alone?
Yeah,
Oh my
that
God,
one case I
okay.
told you about, I was luckily with someone, but most of the time I'm alone.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
so
it can be quite dangerous though.
Yeah, so
like,
yeah.
wow, go girl.
It is very, very dangerous. So there was, but in Malaysia, actually, why I'm not practicing is because I was practicing in Australia, and then when Miss Universe came, and I knew that I was like, okay, got the confirmation, I'm one of the top 16 and things like that, I had to actually give up my job because it was a conflict of interest.
I see.
Social work and Miss Universe, because of the publicity that Miss Universe kind of faces and things like that. If I'm a face in the public eye and I'm working as like a social worker in child protection, it's just not safe for me and also not safe for the families that I'm working with. So
I see.
can give you an example. Like, for example, if a child is like raped or something like that, which is one of the cases we have, and the dad suddenly finds out that, oh my God, that's a social worker involved and she's a public figure, but we removed the child from the home for the safety of for the child away from dad. The dad tomorrow can come and find me, and there's nothing that protects me, if that makes sense.
I see. Okay,
So,
that makes sense. You're
I
in
don't
the
know that-
public eye.
Yeah,
now,
so it's very easy pretty much because in social media you can find anything, right? With the trace of you just need the name and you can find them very easily.
Yes.
So actually to fully commit to Miss Universe, I had to give up my job. So
I see. Oh my
couldn't
God.
I'm not practicing at the moment, just like a few weeks ago actually, before I came for the competition for this. But yeah, so that's why it's so important that I advocate on a global
Yes.
platform. So yeah.
Exactly. Oh my God, that's so interesting. I've never actually spoken to someone who's done this kind of work before. So I feel, oh my God, it very much aligns with my podcast as well. And for people in Malaysia itself to know that this is happening globally. And I know that there are many cases like this even in our country
Yeah,
as
definitely,
well.
yeah.
And
Day in, day out, yeah.
So maybe not once you win, but now you're already doing it in our country as well. So I hope that the number of cases can be reduced or people do get the help that they need, because I think the cases in Malaysia is not that bad, but it's definitely there. It's definitely
It's there. It's there.
Yes.
It's just not, like you were saying earlier, it's not spoken about because maybe people are scared. And I think in Malaysia, the systems don't protect women and children who are being abused. And it doesn't always have to be sexual violence, and abuse comes in so many ways: psychological, emotional, financial, physical, like, hitting someone. Like, there's so many different ways that a child and a woman can be abused. So yeah, I think there's not enough support systems in place.
Yes, I think support systems, and also one more thing, I think I've seen this video go viral where like the reason why women don't speak up is also because they get the support from their other half who is actually abusing them, maybe emotionally or physically. And I spoke this with Mel itself in my previous podcast, that that's why women have to be independent, so that if it ever happens to you, you can just leave.
Exactly.
You can say no and leave.
It's so important to like stand on your own 2 feet, but sometimes cultures also don't allow that. Like, like you were saying with this case, like maybe she's not allowed that. Like, oh, she has to depend on her husband. And it's quite sad actually when you look at it that way. But yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Interesting. So the next question I would like to ask you is, what are some of the biggest challenges survivors actually face in seeking help or speaking up? I think we've already spoken about that, but maybe some major challenges that you have seen?
I think it's like you said, it's probably all about, comes back to the systems and they not being believed. And I think one thing I've not heard a lot of people touch base on is that when children and women experience violence, it's so hard for them to step forward because the trauma of coming forward is so horrible. It's like it's like re-traumatizing them again. Like, okay, for example, let's say you were raped. Okay, then you have to get a rape kit. You have to go to the police. You got to go to the court, or like whatever the situation is, whether it's physical abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse. There is like a support. It's more traumatizing for the women or the child to go through that, to report it. but the perpetrator or the abuser gets kind of away scot-free. So I think that's also another reason why a lot of people don't report, because it's like, oh my God, but if I do this, then I have to see them again in court, or I have to see them tomorrow in the police station. And it's like, whatever has happened to them and whatever they've experienced is already so traumatizing. Why
the PTSD is worse.
Yeah, like they have to suffer it again and again, and you know, with court cases, I'm sure you know, it takes years, like the evidence.
Yes, that's
so
right.
why are we? I feel like there's also not enough support systems for people who go through this. Like, okay, maybe I want to report it, but I don't want to necessarily see the person who did this to me again, or I want to get my child the justice the child needs, but why should a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old or 8-year-old have to go through that? So I think that's also another reason why people don't come forward. It's the whole traumatization process.
Yes.
As well as I think systems don't protect our women and children enough, unfortunately,
Yes. And also I think, sorry to interrupt you, but like I also think that not just in our country, I think many other countries
Globally.
who have some like cultures or anything would just think that what would the public say?
Exactly,
or
the
like
shame.
the shame. I think that's also one very important thing where so
and like you say, I don't think it's just in Malaysia. That part I know, it's like I've seen it in Australia, I've seen it in the UK, and globally it's like, oh my God, what is the shame she's going to bring to my family? Or like not even thinking about what that child or that woman or that individual has gone through, like
they only think about the public eye and like
and
what
how,
would people say.
and how the family is going to be affected. Like, hello, I'm trying to heal here, and you're more concerned about what society is going to say.
And also one more thing, I think if it's maybe not our generation, but the previous generation would just, if let's say their kids go through something with their husbands, especially ladies, mainly ladies, the parents would actually say that you don't have to do this. You're going to bring shame to the family. So stay with that person. And why divorce? Why?
Exactly.
What about the kids? And like, what about the kids if they actually stay with that
the
man
trauma
who
that
is,
the trauma the kids are going to face from seeing maybe mom being, it's like you say, it's not just about physical or sexual abuse. It's even the way maybe mom is spoken to by her husband. The kids are going to see this and grow up and think, oh, that's okay, I can speak to my partner. The conditioning's already there. Oh, I can speak to people like this.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's the littlest things. And like you say, families tell us, oh, we should just stay, just deal with it. It's okay, I went through this, so you should go through it.
Oh my God, that's not true, guys. Please, come on.
It's
let's
not true.
change.
Break the cycle.
Yes, let's break the cycle. Let's do this,
do
please.
better.
Exactly. Okay, so maybe just to end this episode, I would like to ask, how can our listeners continue to support your advocacy and follow your journey?
Well, I'm going to do some shameless plugging here.
It's okay. Do it, girl.
Well, you can just follow my journey on Bhadrani N on Instagram, and my initiative Unbreakable, which I've launched a few days, I think day before yesterday or so, a few days ago, where I'll be posting more about how I'm going to be advocating, and I'm also sharing a lot of educational videos about like talking about this kind of thing and breaking this stigma, and showing you guys like basically learning about all these things that I'm sharing about ending violence against women and children and how it starts. So you can follow me on there.
Exactly. And social media is very powerful nowadays. If you know someone who's going through it, oh my God, this is the same thing as my last episode. If you know someone who is going through this and you want to be there, maybe you can just share this, educational videos on how they can reach out to the right people.
Definitely.
Or like just, you can approach Bhadrani itself. Like she has the experience in this and she might be able to help you get out of that situation. So don't be shy and approach, please. All right. So maybe with that, we would end this episode. I mean, part 1 of this episode, which is all about advocacy and ending violence against women and children. And don't forget to follow her on her social media and her advocacy platform as well. And to subscribe. Love you all. See you in the next one, part 2.
Thank you so much, everyone.